who's passing over his neighbor's property to get to his estate to indemnify that neighbor for any damage that he might occasion. That's it, very easy. I'll take questions.
For a question, Representative Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Tell me what you say this bill do.
It requires, Representative Norton, the owner of an enclosed estate who's passing over his neighbor's estate through a rite of passage to pay the neighbor to indemnify the neighbor for any damage that he may occasion when he's passing over the estate to get to his estate.
Oh, you say if he's passing through his yard?
No, this is all on the water.
Underwater?
On the water.
On the water. I thought
correct.
You said under the water. I was going to say we can't do that.
On the water.
On
correct.
the water.
If he's passing through the neighbor's estate, he has to indemnify that neighbor for any damage that he might cause while he's passing through.
And give me an idea of what you think some of the damage could be that he would create.
If, for instance, there's a dredging company that's going through to drilling company, or a surveying company that's passing through a waterway that's on your neighbor's property, if that dredging company causes any damage while they're passing through, they have to indemnify that neighbor for any damage that they might cause when they're passing through his property. And it's dealing because they have to pass through that property because it's enclosed. They have to pass through the neighbor's property to get to that enclosed estate.
Are you familiar with any other states that may have this bill?
I didn't research any other states.
There's no other state?
No, but it's really common sense because it's telling anybody if you're passing through your neighbor's property and you damage it, then you have to fix the damage. That's what it's saying.
Well, I think that it probably wouldn't be common sense, because if it was common sense, you wouldn't be up there doing the bill, right?
It clarifies
right?
the law. Let's just put it that way.
I'm sorry?
It clarifies the law.
Well, common sense don't need to clarify the law, does it?
This bill will clarify the law, the existing law.
But I'm saying, if it's common sense, it don't need to clarify anything, does it?
It clarifies the existing law.
It clarifies. And is there a certain amount of fees or damage that someone can put? Say hypothetical, you can't charge a person in higher than maybe $10,000, $20,000, $50,000.
This deal does not.
Is there any leverage on there in case of damage as they travel through?
This bill does not deal with that at all. What this bill does is require them to indemnify, requires the person passing through the enclosed estate to indemnify his neighbor for any damage that might occur when he's passing through his waterway to get to the property. And that's
so this bill doesn't validate no amount. If it costs hypothetical $1 million, then they have to pay $1 million.
If the damage is $1 million, the way the bill's written, again, the bill does not specify any limit.
And who is it that I know you're bringing it for him, but who was it that he told you he was bringing this bill?
He didn't tell me, and I didn't ask.
You didn't ask?
No, ma'am.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is something I want to vote for, because first of all, you don't have a certain amount that you're capping off. I mean, it could be, someone could say it's $1 million. So how do you prove if it is $1 million cost, or if it's not $1 million cost for the person who owns that land? If the person that owns that land said your damage was $1 million, who validates that it is $1 million?
The courts.
The courts?
Yeah, the courts, of course. Yes.
But wouldn't it cost more to have that pretty much studied to make sure that it will cost that amount?
There would be, generally when these types of things happen, generally there are agreements that are entered into prior to, especially with commercial work, there are agreements that are entered into before you can pass through your neighbor's property. When that occurs, this bill would require that agreement to include an indemnification clause so that the person passing through would have to pay for any damage that he might occasion on his neighbor's property. That's what it does. There's no limit to the amount that could be, but what it would do is protect that person that's allowing him to pass through from damage that is caused when they pass through. That's what it does.
And at the bottom of that agreement, would it say anything about, now you know this is common sense, will it say that?
I'm sorry?
At the bottom of that agreement, would it say anything about, this is common sense? Because you just said that this is common sense, right?
I have never written one of these agreements, so I can't speculate as to what that agreement might say, other than it would have to include an indemnification clause under this law.
Would you like to see common sense at the bottom of it? Of the agreement?
I don't quite understand your question, Representative Norton.
Didn't you say a few minutes ago that this is common sense? Did you not say that?
Representative Norton, that has nothing to do with what's written in the bill.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For question